Yes, son?
About your honeymoon.
Tell you about my honeymoon. Okay.
We got married at 4:30 on Saturday, December 20th, 2008. We had about 14 hours of wedded bliss. And then the proverbial honeymoon was over before the real honeymoon even started.
We had planned a winter wonderland honeymoon to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, but on the way to the airport, our flight got canceled. We got a new flight for the next day, and we were hopeful that that would be the end of all of our troubles.
Little did we know how many more things could go wrong.
Foreshadowing.
We got up super early in the morning to get to the airport, but our flight was delayed, so we waited and waited and waited some more.
Then they announced that our flight was canceled. But we were able to get a new flight to Salt Lake City, and we could drive to Jackson Hole from there. And we were so eager to get to our destination, we were willing to do whatever we could.
Immediately when we landed in Salt Lake City, I was struck with altitude sickness. I got very well acquainted with the airplane barf bags. Justin had to push me through the airport in a wheelchair because I was too weak to even walk.
Midnight came, and so technically it was a new day, but we haven't slept yet. And we still had a 5-hour drive ahead of us.
I got into a really nice routine on the drive. Get sick, drink Sprite, eat saltines, try to get some sleep, and repeat.
We were well on our way until a blizzard hit.
I was in the sleeping part of my routine, and when I woke up, we were skidding off the road and hit a snowbank.
The snow was so high that I couldn't even get the door open. I had to climb out the window.
Meanwhile, I'm waiting in the car, trying to convince myself that somehow we're not going to freeze to death here in the middle of nowhere. But I've seen the Lifetime movies. I know how this ends.
I called AAA, but it's 2 a.m. and we are in the middle of nowhere. And it's during a blizzard. They said it would take about 5 hours just for them to get to us. And so we decided that we would do something. Instead of just sitting in the car, we're going to put on our warm ski gear, we're going to dig ourselves out.
Immediately after we put on our ski clothes, I saw headlights in the distance. I went into the middle of the road and started jumping up and down, waving my arms like a crazy person. The car stopped and an angel named Brian got out. We quickly realized that he was a fellow Texas Aggie.
Whoop!
So we had an instant connection that helped us trust him. He said that he lived close to our hotel and would take us there. So we moved all of our luggage from the rent car to his car and got on our way.
One tiny detail. In the moving of our luggage, my wallet accidentally got dropped in the snowbank. So that means no driver's license, no debit cards, no cash, no wallet.
I continued to be sick until we finally arrived at our hotel at 6:30 a.m. We'd been up for over 26 hours at this point.
We passed out until about noon, and then I spent the rest of the day talking to the car rental company, the insurance company, my credit card company, and calling my parents to have them try to send some identification so I could eventually get on a plane to come home. And the car rental company said that they were going to charge us $109 per hour until the car was recovered.
We tried to salvage what we could from the remaining days we had left in Jackson Hole. We went snowboarding and on a sleigh ride and a snowmobile tour, and we even celebrated our first married Christmas.
And all of that was great, but we were so physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted that it felt more like surviving than thriving. Then came the day when we were going to go home, or so we thought. We got up super early to get to the airport and then found out that our flight was delayed. So we waited and waited and waited some more.
The plane was so late that we were going to miss our connecting flight from Chicago to Houston. Since Chicago was where all of the winter weather was happening, we arranged to take a different flight on Monday that would go through Dallas instead, since we knew it wasn't covered in ice. and we were hoping that we could make up the 2 days that we lost from the beginning of the trip.
However, by the time we got this all arranged, our luggage was already on the plane. And so that took a trip to Chicago by itself while we stayed in Jackson Hole without any winter gear.
We tried to make the best of it by staying in, eating lots of comfort food. We were treated to massages, but really by this point we just wanted the honeymoon from hell to be over.
We had to get up super early to get to the airport, but shocker, our flight was delayed, and so we waited and waited and waited some more.
Thankfully, that leg of the trip was virtually drama-free, and we finally got home.
Wow, that was a great story.
Yeah, next time let's maybe go someplace with sand and sun.
Like Tahiti?